Good morning. Please excuse my voice. This is a regular meeting of the Cameron County Commissioners Court, and as we do all meetings, I'd like everybody to stand for a moment of silence, and will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by David Garza. Commissioner Garza. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Need a little mic repair. Good morning, everyone, and happy Child Days. We'll start with public comments. Mr. Michael Seifert.
Just before he starts,
Go ahead.
would you rather wait until we get to the item for this discussion?
You know what, if I could just do real quick, I'll tell
Okay.
you why, is I have a bunch of people who are all working too.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's okay?
Not a problem.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm Michael Seifert from the Equal Voice Network of the Rio Grande Valley. We are 10 community-based organizations in Hidalgo County and in Cameron County with 50,000 constituents, most of them colonial residents and what people call working poor people. And we're here to ask you to support a statewide effort to encourage the governor to accept Medicaid expansion for adults, is what we're calling it, which in Cameron County would bring nearly $200 million every year for the first 3 years of help to ensure people who presently are uninsured, who are working poor people. They would offer coverage to people who are up to 138% of poverty. In other words, $12 an hour or under if you have a family of 4. That would mean 60,000 individuals in Cameron County would have health insurance that otherwise they will not have, because under the ACA, they will not be able to afford the new kinds of insurances. I'm here on behalf of Proyecto Juan Diego, quienes están allá. Thank you. Mano a Mano, the promoters of Mano a Mano, Proyecto Libertad, and the Start Center from San Benito, all of whom have supported this. The resolution has been passed in Harris County by that Commissioner's Court, Dallas County, and Hidalgo County yesterday, I believe. We're going to present it at the COG this morning as well. So we thank you for your attention, and if any of you have Governor Perry's ear, we would appreciate a phone call as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Consent items?
I would like to pull and see if we can't move up item F
On the regular agenda?
on the consent
On
item.
the consent? Okay,
Since they're here and I think it'd be appropriate that we
that'd be fine.
look at it.
Any other consent item? I'm sorry?
2C,
2C? C.
C.
C like in cat. W, that's all I have.
Sophie?
I think we have.
If no more, I need a motion to approve items A through, what was it?
Through double V.
Double V, with the exceptions of F. Can't get my page right
C
today.
and W.
And W.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item F,
Item F,
consideration and approval of a resolution, whereas Cameron County supports and endorses the full expansion of Medicaid coverage to all Texans, U.S. citizens, and adults living at or below the federal poverty level, plus a 5% income disregard, in accordance with the provisions of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act of 2010. Commissioner Garza?
yes, I wanted to make sure that we might address this before you left so that you'd know where some of us stood on this issue, you know. I think that it's paramount that the state of Texas agreed to accept the funds that are available to the state for the expansion of Medicaid for the folks that currently are uninsured. I think there's a many-fold opportunity for the state of Texas in this. Most importantly, access to health care for a number of people in the state. Secondly, the ability to unclog emergency rooms, which end up with the folks that don't have anywhere else to go. And also, I think that there's an indirect opportunity, because if we think of $2 million just in Cameron County being spent on health care, I know it's close to $4 in Hidalgo County, and you see that influx of dollars into the community, and at the end of the day, the bottom line is there's economic development opportunities for healthcare providers.
Sure. Along
with this. We're seeing what's occurring in medical education in the valley. We're looking and hearing about the support that is being proposed at the state level for the medical school down here, for the merging of the universities and the increased educational opportunities. And I think that in an indirect way, this will give us that more quickly. And then most importantly of all, a workforce that is healthy is a workforce that is more productive. So how can we say no to accepting these dollars? It is beyond my comprehension that the thought process exists in some people, that we don't want to receive these dollars because, we're spending money that isn't ours. Well, if we were to think in that manner in this county, we wouldn't have probably about $500 million worth of infrastructure projects just in the last 5 years occur. So, I move that we approve the resolution and strongly encourage our legislators to encourage our state government to proceed with this. I know that, there's been people on both sides of the aisle that have supported this issue. And I think we need to do everything we can to make sure that we get all of the things that I said, the possibilities that will come from this occurring to Cameron County and the state of Texas, because it's not our problem; it's a state of Texas problem.
Second.
I have a motion.
I will strongly support it with a second.
Okay, any discussion? Sophie? Any comment? No. David, I think David said it very well. We're here to support you, and we think it's great we hope that they listen. That's all I can hope and pray. I have a motion second. Everybody signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item item C. Consideration and authorization of preliminary plat approval for Loreles Country Estate Subdivision Phase 1, being a 29.81 acre tract of land out of Block 87 of Los Fresnos Land and Irrigation Company subdivision, as recorded in Volume 3, page 9 and 9A of the map records, Cameron County, Texas, Precinct 3. Mr. Garza?
Yes, sir. Judge Pro Tem Hernandez, I brought this up, and I wanted just to make sure that we understood. I think at the previous meeting, I had some questions in regards to the plat as it was presented. I still have some concerns. I know this is a preliminary plat approval, and I have briefly visited with the developer. We can't exist without Mr. Campbell and folks like him.
Sure.
Because we expect and want good development in our county. We provide opportunities for folks to live outside of cities and try to make areas as good as we can with the statutes that are in place to provide quality of life that is acceptable to all the folks. But at the same time, we have to be cognizant of the historical issues that we've had in the past surrounding these areas. And that's why I brought this up. There were some concerns that I brought to Mr. Hinojosa in regards to safety issues for the folks that live in those subdivisions, because once you get into that type of saturation, the buses will not go in those subdivisions. They'll pick up in the front of the subdivisions. The mail will not be delivered at each household. it will be delivered in clustered mailboxes in the front of the subdivision. And there's no sidewalks being proposed in it. People will have to walk from the back end of the subdivision to the front to take their kids to school or to pick up their mail. And there were some lots in the preliminary plat that were 37 feet wide in the front of where they were in relation to the road on the cul-de-sac that it was being proposed. And we're talking about open ditches, we're talking about, you know, pipe driveways. And when you take 37 feet and you put a pipe driveway and you put a, you know, an open ditch, there's not much space to park additional vehicles for households. Most households have 2 cars. And I know, you know, the lots are not your typical rural lots that I've seen in subdivisions, because now that we have sewer provided in these areas, they're able to not need septic systems, which is great, but it really concentrates the lots into one area. I also expressed a concern because the last couple of rain events that we've had, you know, we've seen some of the flooding that has occurred on the south side of the highway, which is already subdivided with much larger lots. And we've seen some of the flooding to the east of the proposed subdivision at the park that the county owns there. So as a result of that, I want to make sure that we take into consideration all those points so that we can make sure that what we provide for folks is not going to be, you know, the next rain event barrage of phone calls to the judge and to the commissioners and to Pete and to David and to Public Works and to Ernesto. And of course, we're going to blame Ernesto Hinojosa because he approves it and he puts the seal on it. So I want him to tell us a little bit about this, to see what they've done to rectify some of these issues, to see how we can proceed so that we can make sure that our developer has the opportunity to develop his property with the proper infrastructure in place to take care of the folks that will end up residing there.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, as you well know, that we did table this item at the last meeting, and we wanted to bring back at the request of the developer. They are here this morning, and also the engineer, to address some of those concerns that the Commissioner has, and to see if we can find a solution to those questions that are being asked. And of course, I'm going to bring them up in a couple of seconds here to answer if you have any questions. But to give you a general, more or less a general outline of what the developer is intending to do. One, of course, is the drainage, which is a big concern there. You know, it's a 2 or 3 phase development, and the only immediate drainage in the area is a ditch between the subdivision and a county park that was recently developed there. So that ditch, and we've been talking to the developer, they are going to improve that ditch as far as you know, cleaning it up, setting a little bit wider bottom, and grading it to where it does accommodate not only this preliminary first phase of the subdivision, but also the other 2, 3 phases. There are some obstruction downstream, and I think they're going to help us address that in the sense they're going to clean out some culvert pipes that are now plugged up or not clean. So hopefully with that and some other improvements, we're going to be able to address the drainage. And the engineers are here. They're doing the design. We're going to review that design, not necessarily right now in the preliminary, but before we bring a final plat to the court, those issues do need to be addressed before we bring it back. Lot sizing, I presume that we can do something in this particular subdivision. There are 30-foot lots, 3 or 4 of them. And again, I'm going to let the engineers kind of explain that. But there is statute that we can use under subchapter E that I think we gave to Dilbia, where we just need to modify the language in the county legislature to make sure we can adopt an order and adopt standards for lot size. And we don't have them in our rules and regulations now, but we still work with the developer on it. But in order to have enforcement on it, we need to pass this particular bill, and I think they're looking at that. So having said that, sidewalks is not going to be a problem. I think we're going to bring to the court pretty soon a what we call a standard that we're going to use for sidewalks. Those can be implemented. It's just a matter of adopting an order, entering it to the subdivision rules and regulations, and the court can approve that. And effective that time, sidewalks can be added. Curb and gutter is another issue that we're going to have to look at it very carefully, depending if there's drainage systems in the immediate area. If there's not, then it can create a problem. So I think that issue can be addressed, but it needs to be looked for it a little further down. The safety issue, I'm going to let the engineers address that, or the engineer. It is their design, and it's their responsibility to design a roadway system that is adequate and safe for the public to come in and out, whether if it's buses or cars or emergency response vehicles. It has to be there. So if the radiuses are not there for them to make the turn, it can be a problem, but I'm going to let them address that. Other than that, I think the other things that our commissioner was mentioning has a solution, and we can work with that. So I'm going to let now the developer and the engineer be present here to answer the other issues that I
Yeah, they
will
can
need.
give us a brief
Yes.
explanation. That would be
Sure.
great, you know. And I appreciate the checklist being corrected too.
Thank you, sir. That was our fault, to correct it. Kevin is here this morning from the developer, and Jaime can do the engineer, so I'll open it up to them.
Mr. Campbell, go ahead.
Good morning, Court. My name is Kevin Campbell. I'm a member of the development company. This development company is called La Cuesta Partners, which is a part of S.R. Campbell Properties. Just a brief history. S.R. Campbell Properties has been developing land in Cameron County since 1978. So we're not a new development company. We've developed many thousands of lots in Cameron County. And I believe that what's good for Cameron County is also what's good for Campbell Properties, because our intent is to provide quality development for as many people as we can for an affordable price. And we've present this Loud Ellis Country Estates having met all the requirements that Cameron County has at this time. Now, there was some concern about the drainage. This property has 2 drainage ditches actually that cross through the middle of it. Our intent is to completely change the profile of this property to where it drains to the existing ditches. Now, once that water gets to that ditch, our intent and what our plans will show is that we're going to enlarge that ditch, clean it out, so it not only benefits our development, but it also benefits the county park that's next to it. This property is the drainage ditch that runs on the east side of this property also abuts the county park. So everything that we're doing to improve on this drainage ditch is also going to be for the benefit of Cameron County. And so we're complying with the requirements that are on the books, and it's our intent to make this a quality development. And that ditch is going to be expanded to handle whatever flow is necessary. Fortunately, because of the size of the right-of-way that's through there, we have the ability to come and expand that ditch, and we plan on doing that, and not just through this portion, also going downstream through other portions of the property. So as far as development property, this property has adequate water. It has sewer, which is beneficial to everybody, that we are able to get away from the septic tanks and go to conventional sewer. The street sizes on this development are the same, whether it was that would be required if it was curb and gutter. Now, this does have borrow ditch, but the size of the lots are the frontage on most of the lots range between 80 and 90 feet. Well, that's not any different than the frontage that I would do on a half-acre lot subdivision with septic tanks. They're just not as deep. Instead of being 220 feet deep, they're 150 feet deep. Well, that requirement that the lots on the corners were narrow. We have addressed that issue to where every lot in there, even on the cul-de-sac in the corners, meet that 50-foot requirement. So those changes have been made that Commissioner Garza had brought up, and we have this plat to be submitted, including those changes. But we've been in business for a long time, and I'm taking over from where my father has left off, and I plan on being in the business in Cameron County for many years to come. And so having that desire, it's my desire to make sure that the developments that we do are quality and do not have problems, and that's our intent with this development. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner? Are you satisfied with that?
Yes, sir. As long as we are cognizant of the fact as to what we're looking at and how we can work on making sure that we address some of the issues that, and these issues are gonna not go away.
Yeah, that's true.
These issues are gonna get even more increased in nature because we're having more areas that are outside of the cities being serviced by utility providers and sewer providers. And the more that we have of that, the more of these tighter subdivisions that we're gonna start seeing. And, we're not a city, we don't have ordinance-making authority, but we do have available some statutes that allow us to ensure that our citizens don't live in subpar areas.
Mr. Campbell, I only had one question, and this has, as we go down the road, and since you're going to hopefully be there at the helm for many years, the county is looking at requiring lighting in the subdivision. If not just lighting, but at least the infrastructure for the poles and stuff. Is that, let me ask you, as a developer, is that a major expense when you do it at the very beginning of a project like right now?
Well, it is an increase in cost, but
Of course.
it's not a major increase in cost. Traditionally, the problems, as you're aware, have been that the utility companies will not provide lighting unless somebody gives them a letter guaranteeing that somebody's going to pay for the usage. And in the county, the cities have been unwilling to pay for the street lighting in the counties, and their ETJs, which ultimately will be their responsibilities. But the other requirements, we set up homeowners associations. Well, homeowners associations in the county traditionally have not been very effective. But that is a possibility, to get a homeowners association established, and then whatever the cost of the street lighting is ultimately becomes the responsibility of the homeowners association. But it's not a major expense, but it is an increase in expense.
We are looking at, we've done it already in certain neighborhoods where we actually have the tax office collecting the annual assessment for the lights for the individual properties and adding it onto their tax bill. So it's just a safety issue as we go forward. Somewhere down the line, we need to address this.
I think that's a good point, Ernie, because do we have available in the statute that we have now to add into the tax structure for the subdivision, the lighting cost, as we do in Cameron Park, as we do in Laguna Heights, as we do in some other areas on 281? Can we incorporate that just before they start selling lots? And then it just be like a continual expense?
Yeah.
I mean, is there something that we could talk to you about? Is that regard?
Oh, absolutely. And I do share in your concern, because when you do go into the county and you go to these areas, they're dark.
Extremely.
And that is something that needs to be addressed, and that sounds like a very equitable way to address it, as you just described.
Okay, thank you very much. Are you satisfied with?
Yeah.
You make a
And
motion?
I'll visit with our legal department to see what opportunities there might be there for maybe incorporating something at this point versus trying to get everybody there to agree and just including, if we could include the cost of the lighting per lot in the tax structure of the subdivision, and you could put in some of the infrastructure for lighting for us,
I think that would be a benefit to everybody.
It would be.
you know, and, that would be, those are the kinds of things I think that you guys, if we can work together on, we might be able to, to just, from the onset, just provide better quality for these folks.
I'm in agreement. I'm more than happy
Okay.
to sit down and
Good.
address that.
Good, thank you, Kevin.
I need a motion for
So
item C.
moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve item C. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item double V, Constable Precinct 3, Office Staff Lieutenant Juan M. Aguilar to travel to Galveston, Texas on five.
Which one?
Oh, was it double U?
W.
You.
Okay, I just crossed it wrong. Excuse me, double,
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Scott.
thank you. Double U, consideration possible approval of resolution support of legislative which allows for a local option increase in vehicle registration fees for mobility needs. Who's gonna address
I
that?
pulled that out, and I just had when I read the resolution, and I don't have the resolution with me. I guess I read it on my email. Yeah, there's a copy right here. I got it. I just wanted to make sure that
It's not here.
I support it 100%. I just wanted to make sure that the way it was written, David, would mean that Commissioners Court would, I guess when you say Cameron County, you mean Commissioners Court would have the option, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
The same way the program is set up today, where Commissioners Court has the final say by vote on what that fee will be set at, would be the same thing we will be doing here.
okay. As long as that, with that explanation, I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Let's go to our action items. I'd like to go ahead and take one out of order. Item H, the tax abatement for Tenasca. Who's gonna, anybody here to talk about that? Pete, anybody? H. I'm sorry, it's a property tax abatement for Tenasca Brownsville Partners LLC, subject to negotiations of a tax statement agreement.
Usually Frank Bejarano handles those.
Yeah.
Mayor, you want to say a few? Go ahead. Since Frank's not here.
There he is.
All right, started Child Days too early.
Judge Pro Tem and Commissioners, Michael Roth and Eddie Trevino are here representing Tenasca on their request for tax abatement.
Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for allowing me to discuss our proposed Tenasca Brownsville generating station and our request for tax abatement. The Tenasca Brownsville generating station would be an 800-megawatt power plant fueled by clean-burning natural gas. It would produce enough power to serve approximately 400,000 homes in the county. Tenasca currently has an option on 270 acres in northern Brownsville for the project. Tenasca is proceeding through the early stages of development and has entered into a development and purchase agreement with the Brownsville Public Utilities Board for a 25% ownership interest in the proposed project. Under the agreement, BPUB would be entitled to receive 200 megawatts of the plant's output, enough to serve approximately 100,000 Brownsville homes. This is the first step of the road to making the project a reality, but still more needs to be done. Tenasca is currently seeking customers for the remaining electrical output of the plant, but signing Brownsville Utilities as an anchor customer is a significant step in that direction. According to an economic impact study commissioned by the Brownsville Economic Development Council, the proposed power plant would generate approximately $16 billion in local economic activity during approximately 2 years of construction and 35 years of operational life of the project. The project would create 600 to 700 jobs at peak construction times, and once operational, the plant would provide 22 to 25 good-paying full-time jobs for decades to come. Construction workers hired for the project would make an anticipated $42,000 a year annual salary, and the full-time operation employees would be closer to $75,000 plus benefits. The proposed Brownsville generating station represents a major step in removing constraints and closing some of the region's infrastructure gaps, as well as allowing industrial growth in the region. We're excited about the opportunity to grow our business in Cameron County and respectfully request the Commission to allow us to work with staff to negotiate an appropriate tax abatement agreement. Thank you.
Commissioners?
Who else are you asking for tax abatement from?
We're also working with the city of Brownsville, and also the navigation district.
So this property is within the city limits?
That is correct.
And have they indicated yet what might occur there? I'm sure they would be for it, right?
They've
already
Approved it?
City commissioners already approved the initials.
Okay.
Wanted to ask legal, is everything okay with this item? Yeah,
I think this
You're
is
just
just for
gonna
them
start.
to start.
okay.
This will certainly help us with future issues, especially at the Port of Brownsville, as we continue to grow industrially. And we've always had that little shortfall there of how to have that extra energy available, so hopefully this will be a big benefit to our area.
Thank you. That's what we're anticipating as well.
I'm sure you are.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll make a motion to move forward.
I'd like to ask
okay.
Frank a question. I think he's here, right? And I'll second the motion.
Okay, discussion?
Frank, how does this compare to what we did with the other facility that we approved a couple of months ago?
The performances which are at this point projected are very similar in terms of projected temporary construction jobs, permanent
Yeah,
jobs.
permanent jobs, yeah.
And investment and improvements.
Well, I'm more in tune to the request for the type of abatement, the years and the percentages and all
In
that.
the previous request, we approved, or Commissioners Court approved a 10-year abatement at 100% per year, and the estimated abatement level over those 10 years was about more or less $8.7 million. Again, the values that are being projected with this project are similar, so you're looking at something like that, but we won't know until we specify the actual performances as opposed to the projected performances.
So it's pretty similar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
I have a motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you all. Item A, budget amendments, line item transfers, and/or salary schedules. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. You have the budget amendments in front of you. The first budget amendment is putting the budget in place for Operation Lone Star, and the rest are for the ONDCP HIDA grants. And you also have the budget amendment for Constable Precinct 4 Drug Forfeiture Fund. The next pages are line item transfers for the Civil Division, Constable Precinct 2, the Sheriff's Department, also some for the HIDA initiatives, immunization grant, the Sheriff's Forfeiture, the Constable Drug Forfeiture, and the Parks Department as well. You also have a salary schedule for the District Attorney's Drug Forfeiture Fund and one for the reproduction. The one for reproduction is subject to an item that's for discussion to equalize the salaries in slots number 2 and 3.
I don't know if the court wants to approve that, subject to, approve the salary schedule, subject to approving the discussion item.
Which item is that one?
It's I.
Aye.
Item I, consideration and authorization to reclassify slot 3 to assistant printer and equalize slots 2 and 3. The salary schedule is in your packet for your approval as well.
And it is budget neutral?
It's budget neutral to the extent that the salaries are being equalized for slots 2 and 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you recommend approval?
Yes.
Move to approve.
On everything,
I'm sorry?
on all of the budget amendments,
On the
right?
budget amendments and the salary schedules, yes.
Second, just one question. How come I'm seeing a lot of like Laredo Intel, Austin?
Those are the HIDA grants. They're funded through the Office of Drug and National Control Policy, and we act as the administrative oversight
For them too?
for them
Okay.
as well, yes.
Thank you.
I have a motion second. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Item B, approval of claims.
Claims are warrants number 296219 through 296706, warrants number 296711 through 296839, health-related claims for $366,609.90. Payroll dated March the 1st for $1,576,261.73 and for $720.57. I also have warrants number 293270 voided, vendor lost a check, so we reissued stop payment. Warrants number 294685 through 294891 being voided. Those are parks reimbursements on rental deposits, and we do not have a good address for those. For your approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second to approve the minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item D, consideration and possible approval of resolution authorizing the use of eminent domain to condemn parcel 7A for the San Jose Ranch Road project.
I move that Cameron County authorize the use of the power of eminent domain to acquire partial 7A, which is specifically described in the resolution for the San Jose Ranch Road project.
Second.
Any discussion? I have a motion second to approve item D. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Item E, consideration approval of an interlocal agreement between Cameron County and the Brownsville Independent School District.
Judge and Commissioners, we still haven't received the information from BISD, so I would ask that we table the item.
Need a motion?
Move to table.
Second.
I have a motion second to table this item. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item F, discussion and possible action regarding Tyler Technologies Odyssey Phase in Justice of the Peace.
Judge Pro Tem, Commissioners, good morning. I just want to give the Commissioners Court an update on where we're at with Phase 3 of the Tyler Technology Project. We are still on track, and what you see that Mr. Flores is handing out right now is a proposed timeline and a memo that's going to go out to all the departments affected so that they know exactly where we're at and what to expect on certain dates. We are on track for our June 3rd go-live.
What's the date? I'm sorry, the date?
June 3rd?
June 3rd.
Yes, sir.
We have just approved our new delinquent tax collections agency. We just did their contract. Has that contract been negotiated already? And the reason I ask that because we're on two separate systems right now. We're using two different companies for our collections, and I think we need to consolidate. We've been talking about this for a year and a half to go back down just to one. Whoever the current is will be the collection agency for all of the JPs. Is that still in line?
Yes, sir, it is. We're still trying to get that information directly from, I know the RFP had gone out. So once we get that done, I think one of the provisions that Mike Forbes had put in there was that they had to work with Odyssey.
Have you gotten cooperation from the JP offices in Harlingen yet? Are they attending the classes? And
We have had a lot of good participation from all the GPs with the exception of 5-1. 5-2 has shown up. There's a meeting today for 5-1 and 5-2, and my plan is to go.
There's training specific for them today.
Yes, sir.
maybe 5-1, we need to move to another city. Maybe they'll participate better.
San Benito?
That'd be fine with me.
So are you saying that JP 5-1 is not sending?
Correct, ma'am. They sent us a notification that due to the warrant roundup, they would not be able to send anybody today, but they haven't sent anybody in the past either.
Well, doesn't
so-
the warrant roundups affect 5-2?
Yes, ma'am, it does, and
Warren Roundup, I mean, that's been ongoing now for how long?
I don't know exact time frame, Commissioner. Sorry
I mean-
on that one.
It's been going on for years.
It's a yearly
Yes.
thing, you know, it's not like a, well, I think we need to look at some options as to what we're gonna do there. I don't know what avenues we have legally, Dilbia, to possibly, do something more to encourage that the training occur. I mean, what's gonna happen for you, Joe, is that come June 3rd, you're gonna have all your staff there trying to cram, you know, the process into like one day.
Yes, sir.
And
Well-
that's not fair to any of the other departments, it's not fair to you, because, you know, we can't allow that to occur.
I understand, Commissioner, and the plan right now is to move the data. Drawing your attention to the timeline I have at the bottom, on May 30th, we're going to do a cutoff. On May 30th, we're going to put the systems in read-only mode so we can do a good data conversion. So we're ready to go for the 3rd of June. Whether they're on board or not, that's going to be the difficulty, but we're prepared to move forward, and we're going to move forward because the court has told me to move forward.
Any options legal for us?
Commissioner, if you'll permit me, let me look into this and talk to you in executive session about those rights. I would not want to go into that in detail in open session.
Okay, thank you.
I need a motion to approve this item or deny it.
So moved.
Have a
Second.
motion second to approve this item.
And thank you for all the work, because I've seen the training that's ongoing there in the building, you know. People are coming in, they're, you know, pretty excited about what's going on. And,
Yes, sir, we're moving forward.
so, thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Have a motion second to approve this item. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item G, discussion and possible action on implementing the trash return program year-round at Isla Blanca and the beach access number 5 and 6, and collecting a surcharge of $5 per vehicle.
Morning, Judge Pro Tem, Commissioners.
How are you?
This item was tabled at the last meeting. Joe and myself and Marty and some of the other staff, we've been talking about hey, Joe. We've been talking about ways about implementing, trying to implement the program at Isla Blanca, and that's going to be the most difficult location. Okay. And what I'll show you is I got two exhibits here. This here is the entrance. We would have to post.
This is the entrance to Isla Blanca, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
sir. What we would have to do is we have an attendant at each entrance, because the kiosk where you insert your $5 or the credit card, you would need somebody there to be able to collect the additional $5 and to be able to give or hand out a trash bag. Now, what we were thinking about was possibly having a toll booth where we plan on putting or moving the toll booth in the future is over around the bend by Dolphin Cove. What we were thinking about doing is putting that toll booth there to be able to collect that additional $5. So we can, that'll do two things. What that would do is we wouldn't have to distinguish whether they're going into the park, to the RV section as a guest of one of our guests. These people that would be going around this corner here would be specifically going to the beach. So we'd be able to collect that $5 there. And we positioned it there so that in the event that they didn't want to pay those $5, they can loop around, come back, and then get out of the park. So it'd be a turnaround. Of course, all this is gonna take time and some money. What we were thinking about is if we do the trash bag program at Isla Blanca, is up on the top part of the exhibit. I have trash bag refund station, and that's when people are exiting. That's where we'd be collecting the trash and then returning their $5 back. Now, what I did was I ran some numbers last night based on our reports for October, November, December, just to kind of get an idea of how much we would be collecting at Beach Access 5 and at East and 6, and also at Isla Blanca. The highest day that the highest traffic day that we have in October for Isla Blanca was 850 vehicles, which we collected $4,250 for that one day. And at Beach Access 5 and 6, that same day, October 6th, we had 441 vehicles that entered Beach Access 5 and 6, which came out to $2,505. And the reason I'm mentioning the amount and the number of vehicles is that, you know, does implementing the trash bag program year-round, does it justify, I mean, the amount that we collect, does it justify us putting, you know, extra staff out there? Then November, the highest traffic day was November 23rd, which we had 460 vehicles enter Isla Blanca, which was $2,300. And in Beach Access 5 and 6, we had 173 vehicles on November 3rd, which was $865. And then in December, December 28th, 2012, we had 414 vehicles enter Isla Blanca. And Beach Access 5 and 6, we had 149 vehicles enter that location on December 2nd, which came out to 745. The rest of the days, you know, it kind of goes up and down. And sometimes we collect $10. You know, it's tough during the wintertime. Now, the other thing that came up in our discussion with our staff was, would we consider increasing the fee to the entrance? And I ran some numbers last night on that as well. If we increased Isla Blanca if we increased the entrance by $1, just historical numbers, we would collect an additional $338,187. If we increased it by $2, we would collect $676,383. And if we increased it by $3, it would be $1,015,417. And the reason I bring that up is it's another option to consider is if we increase the fee and then not do the trash bag program. And that additional entrance fee, we would hire additional staff and equipment to be able to service and pick up trash on the beach.
Okay, when was the last time that we increased the fees, the entrance fees?
It was last year when we did it for the lifeguard program, and then we considered, we got approval to do it year-round. So we increased it by $1. So now it went up from 4 to 5.
But prior to that, it had been like 15 years or something
Yes,
like that before we had
right.
increased it. And when we spoke to the GLO, were they, they had told us that we could actually go up as high as $12?
$12.
12. Ooh, I don't know.
So it's I mean, there's two options. Of course, we can consider that. The only difficult part about Isla Blanca, like I said, is trying to distinguish people that are going into the RV section and people that are going to the beach. And there's just so many entrances to the park that it's really difficult to control. I know we met in the past about considering moving that toll booth over to the, around that corner to be able to generate more interest in Dolphin Cove if we went out for an RFP. And we're getting prices right now. The biggest cost is going to be is to extend the fiber optic cable from where it's at right now around that corner and connect it to the tow booth.
What are you looking, have they given you any estimates?
No, we contacted the contractor who originally installed it, which is Gamma Electric. We're trying to get a cost on that. What I asked Jaime to do is just to kind of get the cost. We have the distance from our office to the tow booth. If he can just use that number just to kind of give us a rough idea of what that cost at that time and maybe add 10% to it. Because we have the distance from where we're going to move it, or we plan on moving it from the existing toll booth to where we want to move it. So we can kind of get a rough number on that.
What is your recommendation on this? Do you think we're ready, or you want to wait?
I think we need to.
My recommendation, I mean, it'd be really tough for me to recommend that we do it year-round. I think it's working really well during the summer at 5 and 6. It'd be really tough to do it at Isla Blanca. We can make it work, but it'd be really.
It'd be hard, I think.
I think so too. I think so too.
I think, you know, I mean, if we need to, for maintenance purposes, increase the fee, can we do it selectively at that park and not at the others, and use a trash bag collection system for the other parks as part of what we do to keep it clean? I mean, can you raise the entrance fee in one park and not the others? Question number one.
No.
It's got to be
They have to be
across
all,
the board.
Right.
The $1 total you gave us, the numbers that you were projecting, was that for both, based on both, all gates, north and south?
Yeah, that's just at number 5, 6, and at Isla Blanca.
Okay.
You know,
That might be a better deal, just maybe put $1 fee or,
Yeah, but it would seem that we should be able, you know, I personally don't think we should get rid of the trash bag program.
I don't think so either.
You know, because it's really worked. And the beaches have been a lot cleaner. I think there's a whole lot less trash out there. But you don't have that same problem at Isla Blanca. It's kind of like the subdivision thing, you know, where, you know, at Isla Blanca Park, you know, you're very compressed. So you don't have, you know, as much because there's more opportunities to dispose of whatever you've got there. But at the same time, it costs us more to remove the trash that is there. And I mean, there's no way, Bruce, that you think that we could incorporate a fee, like $1 fee per entrance at Isla Blanca only because we don't have the trash bag program there, and identify those funds specifically for cleanup?
I think I'm right to say that any fee we charge has to be approved by the GLO. Am I right about that, Javier?
No.
What's the deal?
We can go up to
We can
12
go up
already.
We can go up to $12.
Up to, we have up to
12.
authority.
Right. Now,
Then I don't see any reason why it couldn't be done that way.
the only reason I say that it can't be done is not because legally, but is because just the system is, what I understand is that we'd have to it'd be difficult to be able to program Isla Blanca itself just to collect an additional $1, and then the other ones are not online.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, look at the
5 and
bridge, you know,
6
at the bridge, we deal with pedestrians, you know, regular vehicles, 5-axle vehicles, 6-axle vehicle. I mean, the system is the easiest thing to program.
What we could do is we could probably add, I mean, I think we have access to one more, I'm not sure what you'd call it, but a function to be able to collect that extra $1.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an easy fix, you know.
If we have authority to charge up to, do you say $12?
Yes.
We could do that at any or all, theoretically, couldn't we? and offset the cost at Isla Blanca with an extra $1 at one of the other beach accesses too. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So I think we ought to probably table it now and look at that possibility.
I agree.
I move to table.
Second.
Have a motion second to table. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item I, we've already approved through the claims, through the budget amendments, but we still need to, I need a motion to approve item
So
I.
moved.
Second.
Have a motion second to approve item I. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item J, I assume is after executive session?
Yes, if we're going to discuss this today.
We'll wait on that one. Item K, discussion, possible action regarding the Conference of Urban Counties Electronic Filing Systems.
Good morning. Here, Charles Gray from the CUC is here to give us an update and explain the system and the process that we're in right now.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Charles Gray from the Conference of Urban Counties. I'm here to give you an update and make a recommendation regarding the 2 justice projects you have going on with urban counties. Commissioner Benavides has been the champion of our Odyssey project. As you heard, that's moving forward pretty well, and Commissioner Sanchez has been involved in our prosecutor project. And the prosecutor project originally was designed to deliver an electronic case filing solution for the county. I'm going to recommend today, of the options that you're looking at, the option 2, which is on the cover sheet, and that's to work with Tyler Technologies through the Odyssey solution to get the electronic case filing capabilities that you need to bring in criminal cases from the law enforcement community to the DA and to the Sheriff's Department. Let me give you a little background on that. In 2011, we started a project to plan for the delivery of a new electronic case filing module that will allow the local law enforcement agencies to file cases, criminal cases, electronically to the county. Tyler did not have that capability in their software, but Tarrant County had developed that software and was using it with their local law enforcement agencies. So Cameron County entered into the project to plan for the development of that software so it could be used across counties in Texas. Dallas and Travis County also participated in it. So we successfully completed that plan, and then we entered into a software development project. And Cameron County last summer voted to continue into the project and continue in the development effort. You've committed so far a little over $400,000 to that project. So it's been a pretty significant cost from your justice budget. While we were beginning the development project, Tyler announced that they were going to make that software available as part of Odyssey, a very similar software. And through our contract, they were going to make it available to the counties at no additional charge. So by adopting the recommended option to use the Tyler module instead of the module that's under development by the counties, we estimate it's going to save you in your future justice systems over $500,000 to go with that option. Now, when we first started the prosecutor project, Tyler didn't have that software. So our initiation of that project, we think, put pressure on them to deliver that capability for the counties. Now, there are some sunk costs. As I mentioned earlier, your sunk costs are a little over $400,000. However,
I'm sorry, how much?
a little over $400,000. However, of that amount, $284,000 has not been spent yet. It's sitting in your agency liability account at the urban counties. And I'm going to recommend further that you request that amount be returned to you, $284,000. I've gone over this with Arnold and with Pete, and they're going to make that request if you approve this option for moving forward with electronic case filing.
Well,
So
I would say we approve the option, making sure that we get that money back.
At least that amount, yeah.
Minimally.
I agree.
So that's our recommendation today. Do you
You're
have
very,
any
you're very
questions?
lucky that Commissioner Sanchez is not here. We'd be here for 3 hours debating why we should or shouldn't follow your recommendation.
Well, let's
He's
cut
been
to
very-
the chase.
He's been very involved in this process from
Let's-
day one.
I know he has, and I regret that he's not here to be briefed on this item, but as soon as he gets back, I'll be happy to sit down with him. And go
Well,
over it.
at
No,
the
don't
end
worry,
of
we're fine with it.
At the end of the day, we want to be able to do the end result of what now option 2 does for us.
That's correct.
But at the beginning of the day, we did what you suggested
That's
with
correct.
the other route to be able to do e-filing or whatever that was, you know?
That's right, because
So,
Tyler did
you know,
not.
we're following your advice, so, you know, it's your hand on the chopping block.
I appreciate that, thank you.
I think, at the time since I've been here, the viability of Odyssey has always been a little fuzzy as to what it can and can't do. This kind of clears the
Yeah.
air as to we have
It's more
a real
seamless.
direction now to where to go.
It's more seamless, yeah.
Yeah.
I know Commissioner Sanchez isn't here, but I have discussed this issue with him, and so he is familiar with the issue. We've also discussed it with Judge Nelson. I know he was a real big advocate for this program, and he's on board also with moving forward. That's great.
Good, okay.
Any other
I'm on
questions?
board as long as we get our money back.
Well, I think if you make that request, the unspent funds will be returned. I can't guarantee that, our board will have to approve that, but I'm going to
We can
recommend
make
it
the
to them.
motion based
Sure.
on us
Sure.
getting our money back. So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second to approve this item. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, executive session.
Thank you,
Well,
Mr. Gray.
No,
we have a
number four.
presentation for a resolution honoring Mr. Amigo, but we're going to do that this afternoon at 2 o'clock at the Central Jury Room, so.
We
do
don't need a quorum for that, right?
No, I don't think so, no. But you're more than welcome to come with us.
Please
I'm
do.
tied up.
Okay.
Executive session items, I'll try to get through as quickly as I can.
You want me to
Deliberation.
read them for you?
Would you mind?
Not at all.
I'm having a hard time.
Deliberation regarding real property, the possible purchase of property described as 3.09 acres consisting of 3 parcels of land, each being 1.103 acres of land more or less located at 3619 Southmost Road, being out of Block 24 and 25, Esperanza Place subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, recorded in Volume 7, page 33, map records of Cameron County, Texas, and shown on exhibits A1, A2, and A3, and warranty deed in Volume 17994, page 281 of the official records of Cameron County pursuant to the VTCA Government Code Section 551.072. Confer with legal counsel regarding legal issues arising in connection with the negotiations with GLO and SpaceX on beach access issues and finalizing our beach access component of the Cameron County Erosion Protection, Public Beach Access, Coastal Construction, and Dune Protection and Beach Management Plan in accordance with Government Code Section 551.0712. Confer with legal counsel regarding legal issues arising in connection with the negotiations with the GLO on revision to existing dune protection plan found in Cameron County, erosion protection, public beach access, coastal construction, and dune protection, and beach management plan in accordance with Government Code Section 551.0712. Confer with Commissioners Court legal counsel concerning Maria Dalia Perez, parent and custodian on behalf of GP Jr. and Gilbert Perez Jr. versus Cameron County. Carlos Cascos is in official capacity. Cameron County Juvenile Justice Department, and Tommy Ramirez individually and in his official capacity, and Rose Gomez individually and in her official capacity. In the United States District Court, Southern District of Texas, Brownsville Division, Civil Action Number 112CV254, with the recommendation for presentation of Juvenile Justice Department and Tommy Ramirez and Rose Gomez pursuant to VTCA Government Code Section 551.0711A, and a possible waiver of citation pursuant to the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. E, confer with Civil Division Counsel about legal issues pertaining to the West Rail contract with McCarthy and possible action calling for termination of McCarthy as a contractor for the project and calling for performance bond carrier for finishing the project or other legal alternatives, including a lawsuit for injunction, specific performance, or legal and equitable relief pursuant to VTCA Government Code Section 551.0712. So moved.
Motion second to approve item 4A. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. I need a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Have a motion second to go into executive session. All in favor, signify by saying aye. We're in executive session.